Viva Las Vegas. Now, the issue is Max Verstappen has been able to prove his doubters wrong. Whether we all like it or not, whether we are truthful to ourselves or not, Max Verstappen has shown that he is a force. He is a great driver. I could remember when the Red Bull was performing. Yeah, he drove it out because of the car. But now the car is not really performing. And the car is not really the car that was doing what it was doing last year and 2 years ago. But the car is still Max Verstappen. No matter what we say, it is still Max Verstappen. And for the fourth time in a row, the World Championship coming to him, he deserves a whole lot of it. And that is what he has done today. Telling Lando Norris, well, boy Lando, you are still a kid. You don't do the talking, you do the action. Because that is what Max has been doing. Max is very temperamental, is very aggressive, he is everything. Yes, that is what he is. He is a true fighter. He is a true champion. Congratulations to Mercedes. Mercedes did a good job. After Mercedes had messed up their whole season. This is the first time in 3 years that Mercedes car would perform in 3 practices and winning 1 and 2. If you feel I'm wrong, you can go in the comment section and say, oh, you are wrong, it's a lie, and you tell me the instance. The Mercedes will either perform in FP1, FP2, and in FP3 they are off. The race, they are gone. They might not perform in FP1, FP2. In FP3 they will do something. Sometimes in qualifying, then they are gone. Sometimes you just see them appear in the race and they will do some things. They will just fight. But in practices, nothing. That is the summary of Mercedes in the new technical regulation. What is the summary of Max Verstappen? Not Red Bull. Max Verstappen in the new technical regulation. The summary of Max Verstappen is he is a true champion. No more, no less. What is the summary of Lewis Hamilton? Let me be sincere with you. Summary of Lewis Hamilton is he is a true champion. Yesterday, during the qualifying, the Q3, he bolted it up. He put himself under pressure. Every champion does that. And these guys are doing a tremendous job. Let me go to the main race. Don't let me take it away from George Russell. George Russell started the race very well. And it shows that the Mercedes is performing. He started the race very well. Very, very keen on it. And he was right on it from the beginning. And while Lewis Hamilton, his teammate, started carefully. Now, if you watch Lewis Hamilton in races, he starts carefully. He knows he can recover. So he does not want to bolt the car or cause accidents for the team or not give the team some learning. But what he does is he starts carefully, avoid these incidents. He always avoid incidents, and those incidents he's been avoiding has always spoken for him. Picks points, few points, but it has not been like he should. Like Lewis Hamilton, we know when we know that the car is performing well, he wants to really put it. But now he knows the car is not performing well. He tries to avoid incidents that will destroy that car. He picks his points. He picks when he overtakes so that he would not destroy the car. Maybe he's avoiding not paying for a car before he leaves Mercedes. I don't know. But one thing is he avoids accidents. He avoids a lot of things, and that is what he did because he had the opportunity of jumping 2 places at the beginning of the race, but he just quickly avoided himself and he was going until they started lapping. Sincerely, I could imagine if Lewis Hamilton had started second or on pole position, what would have happened, or even between 1 and 3 in this race. It could have been a disaster for George Russell because at the point before he lost his tire 6 laps or 7 laps to the end of the race, he was putting pressure on George. Even when George was saving his tire and George could only build another 2 seconds away from his 4 seconds that he was closing up before he lost tire, and he lost most of the part of the tire when he was trying to lap others. And what a great race for him. So to George Russell, I'm not stealing the shine away from you. A great drive from you, a great race from you today, and it shows that Mercedes could be in good hands. Question mark. Mercedes could be in good hands. I can say that because Max Verstappen really gave it all today. Immediately he picked this point, he started moving forward. He started pushing the Ferraris because he knew that the Ferraris are faster than him. He pushed them, made them destroy their tires, pushed them more so that they can all be in the same bowl. And what the Red Bull knew was Mercedes were faster in this race. They knew there is no competition with Mercedes. So what can he do? Push Mercedes to win the race while all others that are still struggling, they can be in the same bowl, because if Mercedes gather more points in this race, what happens? Red Bull could still be in contention if Max Verstappen keeps biting the point in the Constructors' Championship. That is what I think he's doing. Let me go straight to McLaren. They need to work with their drivers. Oscar Piastri did his best. It's just 2 years in F1. He did his best. He did everything he could do to race, but still 5 seconds penalty pushed him back. And also, I think as a team, McLaren need to understand how they need to work as a team. They've destroyed their chances at the beginning of the season. Now they are destroying their chances more. Lando Norris is not helping. The car is not where they need it to be, the window they need it to be. But with the experience of the driver, they should be able to tell the team, this is where I think we should go, this is where I think we should go. That is the major problem Lewis Hamilton is having. driving, over experience. He's telling the driver they keep twitching and it affects him. Then they will now see how they can go back, and that is what you can do because you need to get more. You are in a championship. That is what Max Verstappen did on Friday. They are in a championship. They are in contention. He was pushing them. This guy is not performing. This guy is not. They kept on tweaking until they got the perfect car in FP3. What is McLaren doing? Yes, Lewis Hamilton will say yes, he tweaked this car and it messed up, it bolted up. Even in qualifying, he tweaked the car also because the champions, they want more. That is what championship is. You want more. You want more from the car. What more can we extract? What more can we get from this car? How can I push this car to the limit? How can I make this car better? Those questions makes a true champion, and that is what Max Verstappen are showing in their team. McLaren and their team are not showing, because if they wanted more, I don't see the reason why Lando Norris should not be in contention or should not be in competition with the Ferrari and the Red Bull today. Why they should not be sludging it out? But they were complacent. They were relaxed. That yeah, we have a good car. Yes, let's go and win. You cannot win with just a good car. You win as a team. You keep the team on their toes. On Friday, the Red Bull team, they start shaving the rear wings. They shaved until they got the right downforce. Now they tune until they got the car. That car was below 10th position in practice 1 and practice 2. In practice 3, the first 30 minutes they were nowhere, but they came back towards the end and we saw that wow, they got the speed. That is what you need to do as a team. You can have the engine, you can have the car, but the car needs to be made better. That's why you have upgrades, you have tuning, you have tweaking, you have everything to do with the car. That's what McLaren is missing. They are missing that, and it shows in the race, and it shows that Lando Norris is not a fighter, because immediately the race started, he just fell back and he was so confident, like, make I just stay here, let me just be here. And that is not a fight. That is not the spirit that he needs. So to McLaren, Lando Norris, well, Max Verstappen, keep fighting Ferrari for the Constructors' Championship, because Ferrari are closing in, and at the rate at which they are closing in, they came third, fourth today. He's saying that they are already, the team, Red Bull are not close to them. Red Bull is no more in contention. It's now between McLaren and Ferrari. Mercedes knew they are not in contention for anything, but if they can keep this car at the rate it is to the end of the season, wow, 2 more races to go, they are just there. So Oscar Piastri got 5-second penalty for the start procedure. That's messed up. His own race also. Alex Albon, mechanical issues, he had to stop. For me, Alex Albon did great today. He drove a great race. He did well on top of it, save for the engine issue, and it messed up. And to my man Pierre Gasly, I feel for him. Started and he was really fighting the big boys. That Alpine, maybe Alpine overtuned the engine, pushed the engine too much to the limit, and that was it. The engine just went out on him. They could have done more, but pushing that engine more than it should, I think, really put them in a precarious situation. The engine has not been a good engine. They've complained for over 2 years, but we built the engine, Renault. That's why they are leaving Renault next year. They are going to Mercedes. It's been a big issue for them. That engine issue has been a big issue for them, and it's just a shame that he could not do anything with it today. And really, I pity him, because he was driving good today. He was lapping, he was staying close to the big boys. He was doing his best to make sure he captured some decent points and still put them ahead of us, but they lost it. A good one for him. And to Fernando Alonso, I think Aston Martin knew they were nowhere this season again, and they decided to be a passerby in the championship. So I think the last 2 races, these teams need to look at what they need to do. If one engine should serve them the last 2 races, it's just a risk. Learning for next year, doing their best to make the car much more better against next year, bring more aerodynamics for test. Let me go to Ferrari. Great race for Ferrari today. They do not have the pace of the Mercedes. Why are the drivers fighting themselves? They've had this all through the season. Auto relationship that is always a fight on track, because one driver refuses to listen to the team order. Let me be sincere with you. If I was Carlos Sainz, will I listen to the team orders when I'm going? No way. You cannot expect Carlos Sainz to listen to the team orders when he's leaving next year. There is no way he will listen to the team orders, because he believes whether or not like him, whether or not no like him, they go. So far he's leaving, there's nothing you are going to do or to listen to the team orders. The worst he will say is, I'm sorry, but I had the opportunity to overtake. I'm sorry I have this, because they had that issue of him not lapping Charles Leclerc, which put both of them in a precarious situation at a point, because Red Bull of Max Verstappen could have just put them behind. And also to the team, why not pit Carlos Sainz earlier? But even if they have pitted him earlier, they have no pace of the Mercedes, because Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton will still overtake him. You cannot fight an angry man. You cannot fight an angry man. Just leave him, because an angry man can die in your hands. An angry man can break your head. It's 2 things. Don't fight him. You cannot fight Lewis Hamilton because he is angered. Why is he angry? Because in the last race, his team principal used some words that he was not meant to use. You cannot tell me Lewis Hamilton is above shelf life. Lewis Hamilton is not oats. Lewis Hamilton is not milk. He's not sugar. He's not rice. He's human. You are not Lewis Hamilton. If you're saying he's above his shelf life, he might be driving the way he's driving because the car is not performing the way it should perform. So he's putting his whole heart and the car is not giving him what he should do. So if I was that same person, I would just relax. But calling him out, I'm telling you, if Toto should notice, if Lewis Hamilton had qualified up between 1st and 4th yesterday, George Russell would be crying today because he would have wasted his tire. George Russell might not have come 2nd, seriously. And Toto Wolff would have known that Lewis Hamilton works with you calling him out or saying he's not doing this right. He proves himself, and that was what he did today, coming from 10th to 2nd in that W15. Zhou Guanyu is proving himself because he wants to go to Ferrari, at least if he can be the reserve driver next year, chasing Giovinazzi out, possibly. And Valtteri Bottas also did a good job, but he's going already. Valtteri Bottas is not really proving himself. He has nothing to prove. Instead, he's having an auction so that people that loses their job can get the money, like he just lost his job, or people that were sacked, which is a good thing. But looking at it, the race today, I had to get food beside me to eat because it was a great race. It was something that I've imagined for Formula One to go back to for some years now, and that is what we're having. The last race in Interlagos, this race, and I think the last 2 races, these people don't have anything to lose. They just have to come and prove themselves. And Ferrari, he needs to know how to manage that team well. Against next year that Lewis Hamilton is coming, because Lewis Hamilton is another brand on his own, is another beast of his own. Coming against Charles Leclerc, yeah, Charles Leclerc will learn a lot, but Lewis Hamilton is another beast of his own that comes in and dominates. If that Ferrari is a good car next year, which I believe should be a good car next year, it's going to be a total war in Ferrari against teams like Mercedes, Red Bull, and McLaren. If McLaren can still keep up this sluggish phase in which they are, it's showing that next year is going to be great, and we can't expect more than this, especially for teams that are trying to come up. And the midfield battle, as Nico Hülkenberg, he has nothing to prove again. He's proving himself that he's in a top league, but because he's not having the right component, he can only do less, and that is what he's showing in that Haas. And I hope Sauber will be able to give him a good car, because I'm sure Audi coming in next year, I don't see what they will do, but I expect them to give him a good car next year for him to prove himself. But what a driver he is. To Colapinto, if I were Williams, I would not have allowed Colapinto to drive today. But they gave him a drive and he performed well. And Lance Stroll, Lance Stroll. Okay, I won't say more. I won't say more. But what a race today. And I hope we can have a more beautiful one this weekend in Qatar as we go and juggle to the next one after Qatar in Abu Dhabi. We're going to the Middle East, the Gulf country, to enjoy the last 2 races of the season. Catch you this weekend. I love you guys. Bye. Chill.